listening to their iPads, talking on cell phones and instant messaging their friends, and a lot less of reading. The report is compiled by different universities, foundations and business groups. It is vital to encourage reading for pleasure among school-going children, as this will not only encourage them to finish school and help build a better life for themselves, but also help bridge the gap between illiteracy and unemployment in the country. Youth is urged to reflect on the significance of reading on nation building. Today we celebrate Youth Day, and I'm now joined in the studio by 16-year-old Nokwazi Moyo, who is an author. Good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for joining us on SABC News on Point. Right, so you're 16, and
yes,
I think I want to start with the report. I mean, it must be a sad one for you, a scary one for you, the fact that, and I'm sure you know, that the youth of today are in fact reading less and less. And I mean, as an author, that must be very frustrating for you. What are your thoughts on this report?
I personally think that the youth should read more. You know, like, stop chatting, that you don't benefit anything from that. You know, this thing of you being online, getting information, that's not going to help you anyway. You know, you build your future, you know. So I personally feel that they should just leave their phones and focus on something that's actually going to show in their future.
What inspired you to start writing? And perhaps it's important to also establish the fact that as an author you would of course be someone who is a reader, right? So a lot of people say that reading is inhaling and writing is exhaling, right? So where's your inhaling coming from? Are you from a family of people who love to read, or reading just sort of came naturally for you at a younger age? You're already young, aren't you?
No, I'm the only one that writes.
Yeah.
I actually started at a young age. You know, I found it very fascinating writing. It was always my thing, you know, like I'll always write a page, and if it's just one chapter a day, I would do it. And I told myself that when I grow up, you know, I'm going to actually publish a book. I told myself that was my goal, that, you know what, I am going to actually publish a book and people are going to read it. It's like an addiction, and I got addicted. So that's where I am right now, writing a book, working on my second one actually right now.
Yeah, I understand that you've written 2 books. The one, I Am Sorry, and My Kidnapper was my so-called long-lost brother. Talk to us, very interesting titles there. Talk to us about both those books. What are they all about?
So the first one, I'm Sorry, that's my first book.
Yeah.
It's special, guys. It's talking about love. You know, love is very hectic. It starts very interesting. It has oomph, it has fire, it has a thing. But as time goes by, I just don't really understand, you know. It goes down, you settle down. I just don't understand. You just left with ashes. And most thing I actually notice is that women don't know how to approach the situation. They don't actually know that 2 people can play the game of one.
Is this a true story? You're too young to know about love, aren't you?
No, it's fiction. Fiction. So it's talking about love, you know. So 2 people can play the game of one. And in this book, it's about this lovely woman who's devoted, hopelessly devoted, you know. She's always loyal, but her husband is not. And then she's always crying, and, you know, she never knew the solution. So I described the game like a chess game. You know, step 1, you gotta confuse the enemy. You know, chess, you cannot just attack same time. You gotta like chill back, attack. Step 2, you gotta read the way he plays. If he does this, you do it 10 times better. Step 3, attack when he least expects it. So my book, I kept on going back, reach step 2, and most people love that. It really works, you know.
Okay.
But the moral of the story is that revenge doesn't kill the person who you're planning on to. It kills you, because you're going through all this difficulty just to hurt a person. Is it worth it? It's not worth it at the end of the day. As long as you know that, okay, I've been hurt, you know, he didn't deserve me, he made me cry. It's cool.
I think you can advise us older people on love. Hey? Okay, then the other book, My Kidnapper.
Yeah. It's a village story. It's about this girl who longs to see her mom, who's in Joburg, and the brother is a thief, Mara doesn't actually know where he is, and lives with this granny who takes the grant money but actually doesn't give her. Like most, this is actually true, like most grannies don't give them. She's poor, has no clothes, and then the brother comes back but kidnaps her, rapes her. She's a virgin and she's supposed to get married. The girl ends up telling the story that, you know what, I was a virgin, I don't have a brother, and this, and the kidnapper just quickly realized that oh my word, that's my sister, you know.
Gosh.
And at the end, that's a sacrifice. So I'm not going to actually say it. I want the readers to actually think that, okay, what's happening? Like,
sounds very interesting. Where do we find your books then?
In Wattpad. Speaking of Wattpad, right? I stayed for 2 years with the script at home until a friend of mine's like, no, you like writing. Why don't you try Wattpad? You know, you can update almost every day. You don't have to just publish the book. And looking for sponsors, it's actually frustrating because you don't know where to start. Like, you don't know where to start.
Yeah.
So Wattpad is the best, guys. I tried out.
All right. So I mean, you know, the fact of the matter is it's very clear that you have a very bright future ahead of you. So just my question, out of just being sheer nosy here, what do you plan to do, you know, going forward? You know, apart from writing the books, what more do you want to do?
So this is actually interesting. Okay, viewers, listen. So I actually created a blog.
Yeah.
It's online, right? My site is available. It's called Youth Independent. And the slogan is Together We Can.
All right.
So this blog is about teenagers, girls, boys. You know, you can actually chat there, because I personally feel as if most parents cannot actually communicate with their sons and daughters about like sexual intercourse and other things relating to youth, you know. I believe that, you know, we do wrong things because we don't have a backup plan, and our parents, we cannot just ask mommy, what's happening, I have a crush. We cannot actually communicate because most parents don't do that, you know. And it wouldn't be fair if I did for the girls. I personally feel as if also guys should actually acknowledge that they need to use a condom in case they're actually going to have sexual intercourse, you know. And the other thing is that my blog is actually online, and it's basically for teenagers. So we're actually going to be doing organizations of, you know, walking around, cleaning the streets of Joburg. I personally feel as if I just don't understand. We youth say that we want government to do everything for us. I feel as if, you know, we have to change first. We're always complaining about town. It's so dirty, the streets. What are happening in town? Like, guys, I can't actually walk there, you know. But I feel as if we should make the change, and then we'll actually see the change. We shouldn't just depend on government.
Nokwazi, it was such a pleasure having you here in studio with us. I think you give us a sort of good idea of where the youth is going, and I appreciate you coming through. Nokwazi Moyo, who is an author, talking to us not just about her books, but also just in general, all those issues surrounding the youth not reading. So we hope more of the youth will be listening to what Nokwazi has to say. Thank you very much for joining us. All right, so